half-empty glass. If I look at it as a half-empty glass, most probably I will work to empty the rest of it. But if I see it as half full, I will see potential and I will work towards filling it. Because that other half becomes my interaction in the glass to be filled. And I will enjoy it. The way I see this world, I see the glass as half full. And God has given me enough abilities to interact, to fill that glass. And that's a very positive outlook that we need to have. We must understand that the negatives that exist in this world has to exist. For if it doesn't, you and I will never know what it means to be good, and you and I will be denied the potential to participate in the good. Because it will be a golden spoon given unto us, and I will not have that ability to elevate my status until and unless I work hard to remove the evils and to promote the good. A classic example is an examination in school. The teacher can certainly guarantee every student 100. And the teacher can certainly say that, you know, I'm so loving and caring, I'm not going to burden you with an exam. I'll just give you all an A. A good student will feel cheated. A bad student will smile. So what have we really promoted? We've promoted not good. We've promoted, in fact, what we call not progression, but regression through that mechanism. But if the teacher says this examination is an exam for you, but I'm examining you after having taught you, and it is upon you now to have studied and done the homework and to have kept up with it. And considering as fair as this exam is, you are given the potential to score a very good grade, such that when you get out of it, having passed this exam, you can say to yourself that I participated in filling this glass to the brim when I took this exam. But if the teacher didn't allow me that, then my potentials are killed. I may be a genius, but you would never know, and guess what? I would never know. No one would know. And there'd be no difference in this progress, because there'd be no such thing as progress. So for God having created this spectacular system, and allowed evil to exist, meaning that free will choice to deny or to reject the good, it would not be possible for a human being to be given accolades and to say, wow, that was an excellent work you did. What value is it? Heroes become heroes because they're put in harm's way and they succeed getting out of it. But if there's no harm, not that we should create harm, but harm has its natural consequences. And if we don't work against it and put our souls and lives against it for the good, there is no such thing as a hero. It doesn't exist. And yet we honor it. It's an honorable state for someone to have achieved heroism because it shows the individual is willing to sacrifice everything they have for the better. So the Quran says, هَلْ أَتَى عَلَى الْإِنسَانِ حِينٌ مِنَ الدَّهْرِ لَمْ يَكُنْ شَيْئًا مَذْكُورًا إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ نَبْتَلِيهِ. Indeed, we have created man from that which clings, meaning the sperm and the egg, to test him and her. نَبْتَلِيهِ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. Therefore, we granted this man hearing and sight. Meaning, my Lord is telling me that in this examination, I must give you sensors. I must give you some system by which you can derive your understanding. Sight and hearing, by the way, are metaphorical terms because my touch is also a hearing, is also a sight. My five senses is what the Quran is actually saying. But فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا, the most conspicuous ones are my ears and my eyes. فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. God says, therefore I gave you those two. Then the Quran continues, إِنَّا, indeed, هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ. Indeed, we have guided you to the right path. إِمَّا شَاكِرًا وَإِمَّا كَفُورًا. Whether you are grateful or ungrateful. So what the Quran is basically also telling me is that we have given you free will, not predestination, not where my choices are locked up because God's knowledge is infinite, and therefore He already knows. And because He already knows, we ask the question, then how do I have free will if He already knows what choices I will make? The problem with such questions is we try to anthropomorphize God in the world of relativity, which God is not. God is the creator of time, matter, and space. Time is His creation. He is not bound in it. He has no time. And therefore to say, how did God know tomorrow? He has no tomorrow. What was God doing yesterday? He has no yesterday. You and I have yesterday. To Him there is no such thing. Time is His creation. His creation does not rule Him. He rules His creation. So therefore when God is saying that I know all, how do you know the future? It doesn't mean that He is bound in it. He has to. Otherwise He cannot be God, because by definition, God has to be the creator of everything worthy. And knowledge, even in our understanding today, is the most powerful entity any being can possess. Not strength. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. If I could know what's going to happen tomorrow on the stock market, I will be the richest man in the world tomorrow. Guaranteed. Because I will know how to manipulate the situation to my benefit. Now, I could be the strongest man, having the biggest biceps, or whatever. I can have anything I want. It's not the same. Even the wealthiest man is still a weak man and a woman if you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Even people like Gates and Buffett, they have no idea what will happen to their wealth tomorrow. No one knows. But they do their best, using the laws of probability and statistics, to secure themselves for tomorrow. And that's wise. But at the end of the day, my Lord is saying to us that this that I created for you is for you to be going through, not for God to be going through. And therefore God has created this time. His knowledge is. And I'll give you a simple example for us to understand on the issue of predestination. I won't get too deep into this. If a meteorologist says to us, in these days meteorology has become very accurate science. I mean, much more accurate than it used to be. And I've been watching them. I've been monitoring their abilities. And you find that if they're going to say at 11 o'clock there is a storm coming, pretty much around that time you'll start seeing some remnants of it. Now, if a meteorologist was able to say at 11 o'clock tonight there's going to be a storm, and it does come, does anyone say it's the meteorologist who brought the storm? No. Knowledge of the future does not have a direct correlation to one having been a party to it. God's knowledge of what I will do does not imply that God made me do it. It doesn't make sense. And it defies the laws of justice. Even common justice implies that if an individual was coerced in committing an act, then that individual is exonerated, is not held liable for that action because they were forced to do it. That free will has to be prevalent in the court of justice, otherwise the justice falls apart. It doesn't make sense. So the Quran is saying, we have guided you. Inna hadaynahu as-sabila. Where does this guidance come from? Adam, according to Islam, was the first prophet. He was not only the first man on earth, he was the first prophet on earth, and he was a prophet who was ordained before his birth, before his existence. And according to our principles in Islam, Adam did not commit a mistake. Adam did not sin. There was no sin nor a mistake in Adam at all. He is infallible. Every prophet that came, and God has chosen numerous prophets, and the Quran states that وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ, every community on earth has received guidance. South America, North America, Europe, Arctic, Antarctic, wherever you go, if there are human beings, there was a prophet that was sent to them. This is what the Quran says. Guidance has been given to all. And God says in the Quran, no one ever gets punished unless a warner came first and they willfully rejected after having known the truth, then they have asked for themselves to be punished. Otherwise, not the case. No one gets punished otherwise. It's like an instructor in the university. How do you hold a student liable if that student didn't sign up for your class? How does the university go and say, you're getting an F? I said, for what? For that class. But I didn't sign up for that class. It doesn't work. You have to have attended the class willfully, signed up. What if somebody went and signed up that class for you? Although they can't, but assuming somebody did. And it was not your intent to sign up for their class. And you're fighting for it, that you got an F. You say, but I never signed up for this class. I just came to find out that I was signed up later. Of course, it usually doesn't happen in academia, but assuming you did, you would say, well, show the evidence, and you didn't sign up, so you're not liable. Just because you didn't take the exams, we can't give you an F because you never signed up.